And I bring up the FIFA rankings. Of course, that came into play, didn't it, as to which teams would be put into which pot with the 32-team field complete. Let's look at your qualifiers, not organised by pots. That was just the order in which they qualified. But the pots have produced, well, some interesting discussions, haven't they? Because let's look at pot 1 and pot 2 first of all. And the thing that really stands out is Poland in pot 1 and Spain in pot 2. Now, Poland officially, according to the FIFA rankings, the sixth best team in the world at the moment. We all know what Spain have done in the last decade. Let's bring Gab Marcotti into this discussion, Gab, because Poland have clearly been gaming this scenario, haven't they? They haven't played a friendly for over a year, and because of that, only their qualifying results counted. So let me ask you this, Gab. Are you impressed by Poland gaming the situation to end up in pot 1, or does it annoy you?
I'd argue they're not the only ones who've been very clever. Poland, I think, have taken it to an extreme. You can either not play friendlies, or what you do is you play friendlies that become unofficial friendlies, and as long as the opposition agrees, you can go and do that, and then they don't count towards the ranking. But we talked about this the other day. Certain teams like Spain, like England, like Italy, have not gone and employed mathematics nerds to go and figure this out. Other teams, and I'm pretty sure Poland has, but I think other teams like Romania, like Switzerland, some suggestion Wales as well have also played the ranking game very, very well, and good for them. The rules are there, and once the rules are there, you're following the rules, and you're benefiting from it in the long run. Not just with being in pot 1 of the World Cup, but also having a much easier route through qualifying because you're in the top spot.
Any problem, guys, with this gaming of the system? As Gab says, they are the rules.
Absolutely.
FIFA put them out there.
I think the fact that Gab's mentioning the likes of England and Italy and Spain, they've got this sort of feeling that they don't have to play this kind of game because they know that even if they're not in pot 1, they know they're good enough. And they don't worry about it. And teams like Poland do have to worry about it. And so for me, hey, kudos to them.
Shaka? Alex, sorry?
I would say that the fact that we now know that you can manipulate the system, that's a little concerning. I don't blame Poland for doing it. I don't blame whoever is doing it. But the fact that we now know that you can play this game in which you can essentially doctor the numbers and manipulate the system and put yourself in a better position, I think that's concerning. And that's something that needs to change, because then where does it stop? Now we applaud Poland because they've taken advantage of what's available to them. But at some point, you have to play on a level field where you encourage teams to play against good teams rather than, it's better not to play because this puts us in a better position. That makes no sense.